Hello, shalom, good morning, or good evening. I think it's about around 1:30 today. I'd like to share with you another testimony about me having a heart attack. It started a few years back, about 6 years ago now probably. I had a heart attack in church. I got up to go up to the front to call for the taking up the offering. And so as I'm walking up front to get the plate, I felt like Alice in Wonderland, like I was going into this tunnel, like that little small door, and everything just kept shrinking, shrinking, shrinking. Everything was getting small. As I'm walking up front, I'm pretty much crawling up front, and I can hear people saying, "Sean, Sean," and I couldn't answer them. I was going through this, trip, this Alice in Wonderland thing. So as I get up front, I pass out. I don't know what had happened. I wake up in the back of an ambulance. My wife, they called the ambulance on me at the church, and I don't recall none of it being laying on the floor or anything else. But I'm in the back of the ambulance. They're taking me to the hospital. I have a female doctor that came in and took care of me there while I was at the hospital for my heart. And I had a lot of issues with it from there on because she had me on some medicine, which medicine I should not have been on, finding out from my other heart doctor. She had, and I don't know what it is, but it was a few things. She had me on 12 different medications. If you got a doctor and they start slamming drugs on you, go to somebody else. Go get checked out. Have somebody else look at the medication they got you on, because it's not for you. God didn't intend us to be on medication, hooked on drugs, and especially living for the Lord. So anyhow, she had me on all this medication, and sometime later, a couple years later, I had to have, well, at that time with her, I had to get scheduled the following year to have some stents put in because I was having issues with my heart. So she had took me in. I had stents put in. I had 4 in through that front vein in front of your heart. So she done those, and then she started. That's when all the medication started coming. You need this. You need this. You need. And I'm like, why? Why do I need? I don't like taking medicine. I won't take medicine. Period. And I hardly take an aspirin if I got a bad headache. So anyway, she said, you need this. You need this. And so I was taking it, listening to her. Well, it seemed like it was about a year or so later, I had another bout with my heart. I was sitting around the house here, and I started gaining weight, and I was like 200 something. I'm 200 pounds now, and 195, 200. I'm bouncing back and forth, and so I had started gaining weight, and I gained weight. I was at 285. And my wife's like, hey, you got to quit eating. And I'm like, eating what? I said, barely am I eating, but I'm gaining weight. And I had a lot of fluid build up on me. I mean, a lot of fluid. So anyway, come to find out, I had a heart attack again. And I can't remember what was going on. I think it was maybe the COVID or something at that time. And so they couldn't take me to Lexington County Hospital where I was at last time with her. They took me to Richmond Memorial. So I'm at Richmond Memorial, and the doctor comes in, and he's telling me, this doctor I got now, Dr. Altman, and he's taking care of me. Wonderful, wonderful doctor. I love this guy. I tell him every time I'm in that room seeing him, thank you, and thank you for what you've done for me. So anyway, he's in there, and he's telling me what's going on, and he said, I can't get in touch with your doctor. I can't, they won't call me back. And this went on for a little while, and he finally comes back in, and he's telling me again, she will not return my calls. And I said, well, I'll tell you what. I said, you do what you got to do. I said, fix me, get me right. I said, she's fired. I said, I'm not seeing her no more. And he's like, is that what you're going to do? You sure? I said, yeah. I said, I'm telling you now. I said, go ahead, do what you got to do to get me right, because when I get out of here, it's over with for her. So. And that's what I done. I fired her. I told her, I called him up and I said, no more. I said, I'm not coming to you guys no more because you about, kill me. But anyway, the doctor, he's asking me about the medications I'm on. So I gave him a list that I had in my pocket. And so he looks at him, gets me in there, and puts a defibrillator in me. And as a before I got out, they're looking at me, and he says, you know, we can't let you have the defibrillator. We got to change it out and put a pacemaker in. And he's like, we're going to have to keep you in here. And I was in there for like a week. Well, at first, it was, he put that defibrillator in, and then they had to change it. And he said, you know, you got to stay in here. I don't know why I stayed there that long. Usually they slap something in you, boom, you out the door, and you're home. But, so anyhow, they get me scheduled, go back in a couple of days later, and I'm getting the pacemaker put in. And I got the wires hooked up into my leg, going up through my groin to my heart. And my doctor comes in and he says, Sean, he says, you get everything okay? And I'm like, yeah. And he said, well, I'm going to go back here and get you on the computer, get everything situated, and we're going to hook you up, and we'll take care of you. And I said, all right. And so I got this nurse beside me on my left, and she's hooking me up to all these paddle things that are sticking on me all over my chest. And they're cold, ice cold. And I'm asking her what she's doing. She said, well, I got to have these hooked up to you just in case something happens and we need to bring you back to life. And I'm like, don't even joke like that. She said, no, you got to have this. And I'm like, okay. Well, she gets through hooking everything up. We're talking. This other nurse comes up to the right of me, and she looks at me. She said, are you ready? And I said, yeah, I reckon. Next thing I know, she snatches them wires right out my leg, and I flatline. Beep. And that woman, I wake up, and that woman is shocking me with them paddles, and I thank God she hooked them up. I wake up, and I'm looking at her, and I mean, it's not nothing you see on TV where they just, you know, the ambulance comes and they shock you and you just laying there. No, your body comes off of that table. I mean, boom, you jump. So anyway, she's shocking me, and I told her, I said, ma'am, I said, you got to quit with that. I said, that thing's hurting me. And she said, well, baby, I'm sorry, I got to do this, you know. And so finally, my doctor, I look over there, and he's right here by me, and he's hooking, you know, doing something, hooking me up. And I'm looking at the ceiling. Like you can see my ceiling here. I'm looking up, and it looked like somebody had some red paint in their hand, and they were just slinging it all over the ceiling. It just dots were going everywhere. And I look up, and I'm pointing with my hand. I said, that looks like blood. And the other nurse pulls my hand down, and I flatline again. Well, I wake up, my doctor is standing over me, pushing on my chest, talking about, Sean, you know, you okay? You okay? And I hear him, I'm like, yeah. I'm kind of looking at him kind of odd. And he's like, man, he said, I thought we lost you. And I said, yeah. I said, did I die? And he said, yeah, you died twice. And I'm like, man, I said, you know, it's something. But I didn't hold that woman accountable for nothing. You know, I know she made a mistake. It was an accident, and I forgave her. I even told him that I forgive her. I'm not doing nothing, you know. But anyway, after I got out of there, I came back to see my doctor, and he started talking to me about all the medications that I was on, and asked me what was going on, if I was doing okay with it and everything, and which is fine. But he's asking me about the medicine. He's like, well, why are you taking this? I said, because she prescribed it to me. He said, why are you taking this? Because she prescribed it to me. Why are you taking this? And we went through the list. He said, there's only 2 things that she's giving you that you actually need. He said, I'm taking you off all this other junk. And I said, fine. And when we made that change, buddy, I started feeling good. Well, I'm on 2 things, lisinopril, atorvastatin, and aspirin, and there's some other little pill, I can't remember what it is, but it's for high blood pressure stuff. But anyway, that dog, get off my feet. And but when he done that, made that change, everything worked better for me in my life. And I like I said, I appreciate him, and I thank him all the time when I'm in there. Like I said, people, if you got heart problems and things going on, or you got a doctor that keeps prescribing medication for you, get away from that doctor. Find you another doctor. Get a second, third opinion, because your health means a lot. And I praise God. He's healed me again. Brought me back from the death again, cancer, from a heart attack. The next one I'm gonna share with you is my cancer. That's a good testimony also. Take care. God bless you. Tune back in.